So I'm waiting for the cue because, believe it or not, this is actually taped. And so welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so wonderful to see all of you, so many familiar faces and new ones as well. Welcome to our 10th annual, believe it or not, 10th annual Women's Hemispheric Network. I'm Maria Lourdes Teran. I think most of you know me, maybe a few don't. I'm the head of the Council of the Americas office here in Miami. And again, it's really a pleasure to welcome you this morning. Our Women's Hemispheric Network was actually started 13 years ago by our president and CEO, Susan Siegel, together with Michelle Bachelet, who was the former president of Chile, and Margarita Zavala, who was the former First Lady of Mexico. And really the focus of our women's initiative is really to share stories of excellence, resilience, and innovation to really encourage women. I think not only to stay in the workforce, but to really believe in yourselves and know that no matter what age, and I can tell you standing up here, no matter what age, you can achieve both your personal and professional goals. Today, we have an amazing, amazing agenda. I think what I love about this agenda is that it is really, truly a diverse group of experts and great stories that hopefully you'll both learn from and be inspired by. But I think the most important thing of today, and I think one of the things that I enjoy the most, is really we want to inspire and ignite a really strong network for each one and every one of you to inspire the workforce of tomorrow and to pave pathways of opportunities for all of you here today. You know, I think we would all agree we're living in very, very different times, shifting times, uncertain times. I'm not sure how many other ways I could say that. But you know, change, as we all know, is can also be an opportunity. I really encourage all of you to listen to the conversations today. I think they're very, very inspiring, not only for your career growth, but I think your personal growth as well. And I really hope that you leave today having made meaningful, perhaps even lifelong connections. So before we begin, I want to give a huge thank you to Greenberg Traurig. Greenberg Traurig has been hosting our women's initiative, I think for Ileana, maybe 8 years, 10 years, at least maybe 8 or 10 years. So thank you, Greenberg. I always say that, and I say that every time I'm here, when I grow up, I want to work in this office. I would be very happy coming to such a beautiful office every day. But more importantly, Greenberg supports our organization globally, and the work that they do in the communities that they serve throughout the United States, here in Florida and in Latin America, is really outstanding. I want to thank our YPA, Young Professional of the Americas. Thanks to them, we have a younger group, or what I call that real next generation, which is extremely important. And last but never least, I want to thank my amazing, amazing team that I see somewhere here. Lorraine, Luciana, Cindy, and Andres and Natalia. So Andres and Natalia are two associates, and believe it or not, it's their birthday today. So we will be singing them happy birthday later on. So you do have the agenda on your seats, and with a QR code that tells you all about the amazing speakers we have. That's because my team is far more techie than I am. But listen, thank you again. We really hope you enjoy today. We hope you connect with a lot of really amazing, amazing women and men. And I want to invite somebody very special to give a welcome as well. Iris Escarrá, shareholder, co-chair of the land use practice here at Greenberg Traurig.
Good morning, everyone. Bienvenidos. My name is Iris Escarrá. I have the privilege of welcoming you here today on behalf of all my partners, and there's like 3,000 plus of them here, and we welcome. I have participated in this hemispheric convention before, and I find it to be amazing. I find it to provide a lot of energy. So as we're here in our building, I wanted to give you a little bit of background, not only of our firm, but of our city. So the city of Miami was founded by a woman, Julia Tuttle. And as the story goes, she sent Henry Flagler a basket of oranges to come and visit, at that time, sunny, swampy South Florida, and encouraged him to build a train line to come here. So, but for that brilliance of her giving him the basket of oranges and so forth, Miami wouldn't be what Miami is today. But that was innovative, right? And that was Julia Tuttle. So sometimes when you drive over the highway and you wonder why it's called the Tuttle, just think of Julia Tuttle and her basket of oranges enticing Henry Flagler to start his business down here. In addition to that, Greenberg Traurig was founded by 5 partners. I've had the privilege of working here for 20 years. I work in the land use business, so I work in construction. I work in permitting, so I work in government, and I work in a very male-dominated industry, right? And I have the privilege of not ever being in a moment where I ever felt uncertain. And that comes with knowing my practice, right? Because I'm confident in that I know the law, but also understanding that when you walk into a room, to me, it doesn't matter who's around. What matters is the content and the focus of why I'm there. And I think that meetings like this, where you're able to connect with others, it kind of builds that confidence and that collaboration amongst yourselves, that I think that these are necessary, needed, and just inspiring to see you all here, working here and collaborating, the great speeches that you're going to have today from the speakers. So on behalf of Greenberg Traurig, we welcome you. Please feel free, walk around, open the curtains, check out the buildings. I'm happy to tell you all about the different cranes and things that are going on. When you're sitting in traffic, don't hate me. I swear it's just a little bit of a bump in the road. The construction will go away, and then you're going to be able to go and eat at those beautiful restaurants and live in those beautiful condos. So again, welcome. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much.
Wow. Iris, you need to come back and be a speaker next year. I'm like, wait, I want to hear more. Okay, so we're ready to get started. We're really honored to have today begin really our conversations with a leader with an extraordinary journey, Camelia Ilie. Did I say it right? Okay, I've been practicing. No, president of the INCAE Business School. Welcome. Come on up here. So Camille came from Costa Rica, right? You're based in Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, Panama,
Everywhere.
Miami.
Oh, you're a little bit like everybody, like half the room here.
INCAE is Latin American.
Yes,
so
no, but I
yes.
know, but yeah, but we're
I'm-
very grateful that you flew to Miami to
Yeah.
be here with us today.
It's okay here? Or...
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah?
good.
Okay.
Close and personal. It's always good. And look, we're matching red and blue. So I want to tell you a little bit about Camelia. She was appointed, this is very cool, the first ever woman president of INCAE Business School. INCAE is one of the best business schools in Latin America. She previously served as Dean of Strategy and Institutional Affairs, Dean of Executive Education and Strategic Innovation, Chair of the Leadership Center, and full-time professor at INCAE. She was trained as an engineer, which is amazing, and obtained a doctorate in business administration from the University of Comillas. Is that right, Comillas? Okay, good. She also worked at both two of the best business schools in the world, IE and ESADE Business Schools in Spain. So welcome, Camille. It's amazing to have you. So I think it's always interesting to begin, to start with the beginning, right? You were born in Europe. Growing up during a time when Romania was still under communist rule. And as a young woman, you decide to study science and engineering, which is a field I think few women, I'm sure, entered into, especially where you grew up. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of that experience in the early years? And I think what's interesting is what inspired you to study science? And more importantly, what created that belief in yourself from such an early age that you could do it?
Thank you, Maria. Thank you all for being here to listen a bit of our stories, in this case mine. Yes, I was born in Romania in a communist regime. So we all know that are this kind of regimes when you have some limitations. From very young, I developed some skills that I think that are very useful now. Like, for instance, being prudent before I talk, anticipating risks, thinking before saying something out loud. So it was part of the natural way of being in that time. It's what our parents were teaching us. And well, I discovered that in these times they are really useful. Yeah. So You know, you never know where something that seems very difficult becomes a great way to learn and to grow. Also, something that science is telling us today to teach kids is to be bored, to spend time with themselves, to spend time outdoors. As it didn't have too many things to do, we spend time outdoors. We spend time talking. We spend time with family. So these are also, I think, were booster for our creativity, because by being with ourselves and don't having any other distractions, it was a good way to have discipline and to focus on learning. So again, I'm very grateful of the limitation we had when we were young, because it became part of the values as an adult. Then about engineering, it wasn't such a personal merit, because in that time, as the education was the only way to compete, and we know that we human need something to compete. This is the reality. We were competing by studying, and our teaching was just pushing us, boys and girls, to just do the best we can and to compete with each other. So it was just, what are your skills, and go for it. And another interesting thing was, as the communism was planning every 5 years, there were annual plans. We knew in advance where the best jobs would be in 4 or 5 years. So actually we pick careers and studies that could give us some better jobs. So that's why with my parents, and we decided, let's go for engineering. I know it's difficult. We had to study very tough, but you'll have better options for a better job. So amazingly now, we also do our master's degree at INCAE, thinking of the future of jobs, having the reports about where the future of jobs are to design the career of the present. So engineering was just a natural way for somebody who had skills in mathematics and physics, and boys and girls, we just were pushed to do it.
You know, that's amazing. I'm thinking just about even just what you've mentioned, right? It's two themes. One, which is, you know, challenging times. I mean, you grew up in challenging times, gives you resiliency, which we all know. But I think something interesting as women as well, me having 2 kids grown up, is that don't be afraid, you know, really try to learn from the challenging times. I know it's really hard when you're in it, but when you look back, often you do learn from that. And I think it's important for our kids as well. You know, sometimes I see that today kids have so many things that help them achieve their goals, but sometimes it's good for them to fall and kind of learn how to get up, right? And so hearing your story, I think, reminds me of that. So thinking a little bit about, and then as I think about, you know, your early years, and you talked a lot to us about kind of your journey, right, as a professional, and career shifts and taking risks, which I think is something that is very challenging. You have 30 years of work experience in different roles, which I think is really important, and in different regions in Latin America and Europe and the US. So you, and what I also think is interesting about you is you have an interesting perspective in that you have your own journey, but because of what you do, you have extensive research around executive careers and leadership. So you're very, I wish I could go back to school, I can tell you that. I would learn so much. So you have your own perspective, but you have that of others. So can you take us a little bit through how you kind of, your journey through pivotal moments of your life where you had to make these really hard decisions, and what inspired those changes in your life, and advice for making those really hard decisions?
Yeah, again, I think that having limitation, it turns out to be an engine for a desire to grow, and also curiosity. So
So
the
lifelong
farthest
learner.
I could travel before the 89 was to the Berlin Wall. I seen it in like 84. In a study trips, and then there was always the curiosity, what else is there in the world? So as soon as we open to European projects, to international collaboration, I had the opportunity when I was 26, 27, in 97, to travel to Colombia and it was a turning point for several reasons. First, I discovered that, well, you can spend time just being happy, and this is not bad. Also, I discovered that Aurita is not always 5 minutes. So
Depending on the country.
it made me, well, see the world in a wider, in a more flexible way. Also, it gave me my husband, even if I discovered him in Puerto Rico in an academic conference. But I have a Colombian family, my political family. And also, I had the first women dean as a leader. And she convinced me that education is not only for one to study, but also it's a great profession. So it was really a turning point for me, personal and professional. That's where I decided that I want to work in education. I started working in universities in Bogota, and then I moved to Spain. So that's its career shift happens for some meeting the right person at the right time.
Well, not only career,
listening.
but life shifts. Were
And
you,
life shifts.
how, I can't imagine coming from, a place where you haven't traveled outside certain walls and then all of a sudden being in Colombia. Was it scary? How did you get over that? Or is it just, we have to keep moving forward?
Well, as we used to plan a lot in my family, we did have scenarios, and we had Colombian friends in Bucharest. My parents talked to them, so it was a guided freedom. So they really look into the opportunities for me, and but they were quite controlled. So I think that having scenarios and having the worst case scenario, it's good to have the freedom to take risks.
Yeah, so preparing, right?
Yes.
Preparing, knowing what might happen, I think makes those really big life changes and career changes. And I think, change is good. It's an opportunity. So you told us a little bit about how you got into kind of the education area of your work. And something interesting, which I think is extremely important, which is the reason we're here today, is you mentioned that you landed at INCAE through networking. Tell us about the role that networking has played in your journey and why it's such a powerful tool for career development. But I think what would be also interesting is to understand how did you, get your networking? Was it through family, through work, through volunteering? Because this is something I think about often. I tell my 23-year-old, you have got to not spend the entire time as I have at work. You need to go out and build other networks because you learn from them. So tell us a little bit about the power and what's important. What are the different places where you can find good networks?
Yeah, here it's again something that it's related more to extroverts maybe, and they say, well, for some person it's easier to do networking. I am not a natural socializer. I'm happier with computers and writing reports and analyzing strategies. So I'm not a natural. But what I do like is I like to learn. I volunteered in a lot of committees, association, conferences. When I was in my 30s, I had a lot of energy, so I traveled everywhere I had the opportunity to participate. So this pay off, I learned, and a lot of people, I think that so that I prepare, I'm reliable, I'm consistent. So it's not that type of heroic extrovert networker, but just from consistency, I think, and reliability that I built a lot of friends in the industry. So when not the former, but our 2 presidents ago at INCAE, when he was looking for a new dean for the executive education at INCAE, actually 2 colleagues from the industry, one from Mexico and the other from here from Columbia University, they called me when I was in Madrid and they said, well, they are looking for somebody, and I think that you would make a great fit with INCAE. And this is how, at our family, my husband was a professor at IE, and at that time we had a great discussion for 6 months until we decided that we moved from Spain to Central America, and it was a great decision.
Is this your husband?
Yes.
Oh my God, I did not know that when I met you. Okay, supportive husbands. Love that. Welcome. Thank you. That's really interesting because, like you say, you don't have to have that kind of extroverted, super outgoing personality to build a network, and just how important it is because it can really lead, I think, to your next opportunity, right? And I think you learn from different people. So that's always.
Yeah, you learn from everybody. And now that in the last 5 years as a professor, I dedicated my time to C-suites, to board of directors, to CEOs, to presidents. I challenge them to have young people in the boards,
Important.
to have, and the most interesting thing that one of the entrepreneurs that was in our programs told me, said, I learn mostly from my nephew Mateo, who is 4 years old. So I said, invite him to your board. Maybe he's going to give you some fresh ideas. So yeah, we learn from everybody all the time. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. So you also mentioned to us, which is, again, something that we love, is that one of the things that you've loved is really focusing on advancing women's leadership. How do you see the current landscape, and what are the key skills and perspectives women need to succeed in today's competitive environment? It's a very challenging time. Sometimes I get a little
Yes.
frustrated that things haven't moved along maybe the way we would like them to, but we'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Well, I can talk until 2 p.m. about women.
Skip lunch.
It's been a lot of years dedicated to women, and I have some different perspectives here, because if we wait to fit in an old model, this is not going to happen soon. So I think that we have to create new spaces, and that comes with an entrepreneurial mindset. I think that it's something that we have to cultivate for us and for the girls that are coming, to create the possibilities for us. Also, every time I'm in a program with women, they are asking me about salary gaps and opportunities and about being seen. And I think that we have to change the paradigm here and say, well, instead of working to be as good as men, the question actually is, which is my competitive advantage that complement the men advantages? It's not about competing with them, but complement them on the table. So with women from very young, we have women programs from 20s, from their 20s to young women of 60 something. And
Young women of 60. Heard that.
yes. And this is which are your unique capabilities? Where do you add value? What is something that only you can do in a different way? So if we think as we think in the companies, creating a competitive advantage make blur all the barriers. There are no salary gaps when you have a competitive advantage. There are no frontiers. There are no industries that are not eager to have you. So it's coming back to oneself, looking into oneself, and build consistently and developing skills, capabilities, mindset to create this competitive advantage.
I love what you said, which is let's stop talking about kind of what we've been talking about for the past 20 or 30 years, and let's build a new way to discuss this, right? And I think what you said is so true, is focus on developing yourself, right? It's almost like, how can you be the best version of yourself? And it's true, there is a lot of competition, but I think we can learn from each other. And what is your uniqueness?
Yes, and also preparing not only and what you know to do, but how you communicate it. It's instead on talking a lot, it's talking from time to time, but may the other be anxious, what are you going to say next? So be very thoughtful about not only what your advantage is, but how you are making yourself the impact. And also that something that it shows up always is the fear. Of course, there are some cultures that are more dominant, is the fear to talk, the fear to show up. And I think that a healthy level of fear, it's good because it's pushing us to think very well what we are going to do, both for men and for women. And also, it could be an engine from growth. And also this kind of imposter syndrome that some of my women students are asking me about. Now, some specialists are saying, again, that a healthy level of imposter syndrome, it's good because it's making us thinking, can we do things better? So don't be afraid of having fear, of having
That's true.
doubts, because in a healthy level, they are engines for growth.
No, you see, I told you, she's amazing. She's done a lot of research, but it kind of in that same area of leadership, right? Something that I loved that she said is, at INCAE, I lead a people-driven organization, and it made me think that in today's world of technology and everything moving so quickly, sometimes we forget that we're human beings, and almost everything we do, every business deal we do, we're doing it with a human being most of the time until AI starts making business deals with us. But that's really important. So I think many of the women here are probably in a place in their career where they're beginning or definitely have tasked the important role of building teams. And I think that's extremely important. So what are the key factors in leading teams to success, being an effective leader? And I have one more question because I'm going to take as much advantage in the next 20 minutes of you. What should we be looking for in a good leader? Because today, again, we're in challenging times. So,
Well, I can start with the second, maybe. I think that consistency and reliability is what our teams are expecting from us. Not moments of, again, being these heroic leaders that Hollywood sometimes show in movies, but just being consistent. People would feel safe if they know what to expect from you. And in relation to teams and high performance teams and the kind of organization we need, clearly science it's showing us that collective intelligence is the way to create competitive organizations. Was saying, I think that Ken Blanchard was saying that none of us is more intelligent than all of us together. Something similar said, I think, Kroc from McDonald's. None of us is as good as all of us together. So it's clear that, and science supports that. So, but you have to be prepared to have difficult conversations, to have constructive conflict, because when there is a diversity of perspective, of diversity of thinking, you want people to think differently and to challenge the status quo, to challenge the ideas. So I think that what we need to develop as leaders is the capacity to let the teams develop and helping them being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So it should be the new way of being in a team. It's not looking the harmony. It's against innovation. So yes, we have to respect each other. We have to develop each other. We have to getting along, but we need conflict to move forward. So that's where I would work with teams, and we are working with in our transformational journey at INCAE to move from harmony to a good conflict, open discussion, difficult discussions to move the school forward.
I think that's so important. Some people expect everything to always be positive, but sometimes you have to have that kind of tough love, or hey, how do we move forward? How do we innovate? So my way of saying your very elegant way, I say complementary talent, right? It's like that's so important. I don't want a team that they're all good at. That's my team. I love my team. They're so good at everything I'm really bad at. So that's really good. Thank goodness. And then, really thinking about kind of INCAE obviously being one of the top ranked business schools. in the region. You're now the president, which is amazing. So you have such an important, not to put any pressure on you, she just started in January as the president, but you have the important role of developing today's generation of business leaders. How can we help maintain and enhance Latin America's global competitiveness? How are you doing it on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first of all, I am in the stereotypes of the studies that show that women are invited to lead when the sector on the industry is really under a big disruption. So I don't have an easy task. But, well, I've been around for 30 years, 12 at INCAE. In the first 12 years, both in executive education and strategic innovation, we transform how we view executive education. We develop a portfolio that mirror the needs of the organization, not what we were thinking that we like to teach, but what the organization need. So we align that portfolio. By the end in 2019, we signed an alliance with Emeritus, who is now recognized as one of the biggest edtech in the world, to move the organization to do the academic digitalization of the school in online education. We launched it, it's called the startup INCAE Online. And that proved to be quite well at time, because in 2020 we had to close, and we closed in March, and in April we were ready to go online. So what I would like to do now is again to anticipate what is next and to move the organization to design the present of the organization from the future. So how do we do that? Again, science is something that we rely a lot. We are trying to see where are the trends in the future and start to align portfolios, markets where we are in, and also the academic part. So we have a strategic plan that we just started. As a Dean of Strategy last year, I dedicated myself to listen to all stakeholders. I listen to donors, to students, to graduates, and also I listen to those students that decided not to come at INCAE. I asked them, why didn't you come to us? So there were a lot of learnings from that, and this is what shaped our current strategic plan. So first, on the academic level, we already launched in these 3 months with our new top leadership team, new deans, specialization in artificial intelligence and sustainability. We have studies at INCAE that are used in more than 60 governments in the world. For instance, the European Union decided some of the social projects working with our senior researcher, Jaime Garcia in Alajuela, who developed the Social Progress Index. It's a global index. In September, we are going to launch the Ibero-American Social Progress Index with a big organization in Casa de Americas. So we are working on our global branding. And it's something that we recommend also to the regional companies. The digitalization and globalization are opportunities, and they are not only threats. So we are trying to transform them into opportunities. So we think globally now, in research, in impact, in sustainability. This is in one areas. In the portfolios of programs, beside the artificial intelligence, quantum computing, we have professors that are working on this area. Also, algorithmic decision making. So we are bridging science to management, and all our portfolio is changing very, very fast. And we do that in master degree and in all the lifelong learning programs. Then on markets, we also have a new strategy. We are going to grow in Panama. We have an executive education center in Panama, launched last year. And we position ourselves then similar to the geopolitical location of Canal de Panama, Copa Airlines, is the bridge to South America, Central America, and North America. So we are going to have a big focus there on executive education, and on Costa Rica, linked to the sustainability brand of the country. We are going to have all the Master of Science, impact centers, and full-time master focus on sustainability. And we'll receive universities and companies from all over the world in Costa Rica to develop sustainability programs. This week, actually, we have a program that is called Anticipatory Leadership. We are partnered with other 4 universities in Turkey, Singapore, Africa, and Europe to develop leaders that link science, diplomacy, civil society, and companies to develop together solution for the society. So we want to break silos in decision making. So this is a line what you will see in INCAE a lot in the next years.
Outstanding. I want to go back to school now.
Please, we have programs from 20s to 60s, from high potentials to entrepreneurs and C-suite level. Finally, Miami, it's important for us. We have more than 200 students here, normally students from family businesses, board of directors, women on top leadership. So we hope to be more here in Miami too.
Good, good.
So
We need
yes.
you back. Good, good, good. So
And I can keep going. I stop here.
I am going to open the floor to questions. So start thinking about take advantage, take advantage. Oh, no, not yet. But in 5 minutes. I love that, though. Usually we wait and nobody. This is going to be a good group. This is going to be a good day. I can tell already. So I do want to talk a little bit about what we always hear about, but I just am curious is life-work balance, right? You're a wife. You are a president of a very important organization. You're a mom. You're an aunt. How do you, not how do you, but what would you say are 2 or 3 things they would say, this is something that's really helped me to find or to get closer to a balance?
Well, I'm not that good at
fair.
balancing
I like
life and free time. I don't know yet what is that. I'm learning. I'm learning. What it helps me, and really is not because Guillermo is here, but all the leaders I talk to, and I have a podcast with leaders. I'm learning from them a lot of their capabilities, their vision, and all of them, 100% said it's important to pick the right partner in your life. So I think that I picked the right partner in my life. Guillermo made some decision in his career to support mine. I also did some for him, but I think that he did more for me. And we enjoy a lot of time together, even if we are working, and I'm working a lot. But we enjoy small things, so I don't expect to have a lot of time to enjoy. But listening to music, we have some of the child's gaze still. We love flowers, or a bird, or a good reading, or a good movie. So I think that are small moments that we can have for ourselves. But I'm still a learning and a learner in how to balance. Please share with me ideas if you know how to do, or with Guillermo. Yeah.
I love that. So only 2 more questions and then we'll open it up. But what has really, really surprised you about your path to success that perhaps you were not expecting? And what did you learn from it?
Well, I learned some valuable lessons that I do think or I try to share as much as I can. When we are young, we were taught, all of us, that grow is going up. And growing is not always going up. Sometimes it's staying and growing inside. Have an inner look, looking more at what we want. Sometimes growing, it's going horizontally or enlarge your horizons. I learned that I don't have to listen always what must be done. It's just there is no it must be done. I can have the freedom to just decide that the path is different. So this is what I try to share to everybody, to the kids now, because they are a lot of pressure. And we all feel entitled to give advices to the kids. And sometimes we move them in a path that is not for them. So this is what I learned, that sometimes I just have to go back to be able to move on later. So be patient with yourself, and we are enough. We don't need anybody else to tell that we have to be more.
If I only knew when I was 30 what I know today. Whoa. But it's true. It takes time, but that's really, really good advice. So last question. You have a daughter, right? Or a son?
We have a daughter, 34 years old, and 4 grandkids.
Oh, I
2
love that.
girls and 2 boys, 1 year, 4 year, 8 year, and 10 years. The 10-year girl is amazing. I love all my 4 grandkids, but I'm in love with the girl of 10.
Okay.
I have to,
We're not going to show that
we
video
have
to the
tell you
grandkids.
guys that this is the truth.
You're get in trouble. No.
Yeah.
So your 10-year-old granddaughter is here. What advice would you give her? Pretending she's maybe 18.
It's the one that I gave to our daughter. She was pushing herself so hard. We all in our family are in education. Everybody, his grandparents, her grandparents, parents, uncles, everybody. So we discovered that she was pushing herself very hard in the high school, in the university, and we have to stop her and say, your objective with you is yourself and to being happy and to be balanced. So if you are happy and you are balanced, we are happy. You don't have to be outstanding in anything. So this is what I'm telling my grandkids too, because the granddaughter is exactly as our daughter, and we are working with her just to balance very well her expectations and to just don't push themselves too much.
Yeah, I think today's society, right, pushes towards results. And somebody recently told me, you know, it's not about the end result or it's the journey. And I was like, oh, that's right. I'm supposed to enjoy every day also. So not just focus on where we're going. So we are going to open for questions. I'm so excited. I think it's the first time ever that we have like a preset question. Oh, wait, we need microphones. Oh, do we? Yeah, thank you. Oh, there they are. Okay, thank you.
Another one here.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Ilie, I want to thank you truly for your insights. First off, thank you truly for being here. I'm Dali Santana Rhoda. I'm a research coordinator at FIU's Jack D. Gordon Institute for Public Policy. And we have a strong partnership with the Department of Defense's U.S. Southern Command. And through that partnership, we were able to create the first ever Women, Peace, and Security program at FIU. We've been able to provide educational opportunities and trainings throughout different Latin American countries for women. But unfortunately, we are seeing that we won't have funding for next year. So my question is, how can we secure funding and ensure the longevity of programs like Women, Peace, and Security throughout the nation?
Well, we are looking for funding too. I think that what we are doing is to switch our views, because we used to think north-south. We have to think trans-Pacific and transatlantic more. There are other smart countries, people eager to think different, to support organizations. So I think switch the view where the funding can come from, and look at the private organizations. They are great innovators. They are making big transformation, and at least in our case, we are trying to think as being part of an ecosystem and to create value for the organizations that are in the same ecosystem with us, And from there, we hope to get more finding. And then collaborating with FIU, we have good friends there. And I think that going together to look for funding, it's also another options. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That really
Welcome.
does sound like a good plan.
Wow, what a great, amazing young lady. So we as the council also partner with FIU and we do quite a bit of work with Southcom. And we also were heartbroken when we saw, because it is a great program, but we have to hope that it will come back and just have to be creative.
Good morning. Great lecture. Thank you so much. Bulgarian. Hello, neighbor. Have also lived through communism. I have a question. My daughter is at college and they don't allow them to utilize AI in their learnings, in their homework. At the same time, at work, I'm encouraged to utilize AI. How do you feel is academia responding to the fast speed today as it relates to integration of AI? And at the same time, our children are not allowed to utilize it in their learning processes at colleges.
This is a great question. In the academia, sometimes we help others change and it costs us a lot to change ourselves. So you do well by pushing her to use AI from home, because it's when big revolution happened, there is no way back. I still remember, I think that Henry Ford was saying that if he would have asked his client what they would need, it was just faster horses. So I think that by stopping children using AI, it's not going to stop them use that. What we are doing is working on ethics code and how to use AI. Also, I was mentioning quickly the algorithmic decision making. We have to be careful to have the diversity of perspective also when we design this kind of technologies, to avoid unconscious biases, and to be as transparent and ethical as possible. So we have to teach kids to look at diversity of perspective, to check what the work with these emerging technologies is giving them, and to develop a critical thinking so they can judge by themselves. But a good use of artificial intelligence, we're going to increase productivity, is going to let us go some operative, repetitive tasks and help us being more curious, seeing at each other and talk to us each other more, because we'll have some tools that will do all this back office work. So encourage the kids to do it in a meaningful way. And now, if they are still kids, be there for them to see how they use it. And hopefully colleges and teachers will be aware that this is something that we just have to embrace and not fear. We do that. Fortunately, our faculty is very curious, and we are, as an academic team, really immersed in that. So we are waiting for her when she's at the university. Thank you.
Yeah. Questions?
Hello, my name is Susana Alvarez. I really enjoyed your presentation and your history. I have a comment and a question. Actually, we're training from my company in Puerto Rico with the Ministry of Education, 6,000 teachers on Copilot, and they're using it for the making the different courses and the homework for the kids and everything. So it's really challenging what they're doing. And my question to you is, from your history and with everything that you've been through, what was your biggest struggle and what did you learn from it?
Well, I have several. One of them is patience. I'm not a patient person, so I have to train myself to be patient. And also to not to control everything, because I am always afraid that something is going to not to be exactly how it should be. Something that I haven't shared. I study biomedical engineer, precision mechanics, and I work the first 3 years in atomic physics. So this trained myself to be very risk adverse. So I look at a lot of scenarios before I made decision. And this sometimes it's very stressful for myself, and I have to be very aware that can create stress of those around me. So these are the two things that I'm still working on them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's always good to know your strengths and also your challenges. Ariel? No. Yeah. Oh, here. Yeah. Me too. But she does have a podcast, so she'll tell us the name and where to find it. Turn it on. You got it.
No.
No,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
So economic growth and development in the region has been largely spurred by trade in the hemisphere, right? And so I get it. We need to look sideways for more growth. But, you know, with the disruption in trade and trade policies, I'd like to hear your thoughts about how we continue to encourage and empower particularly female leaders and young female leaders to consider careers in trade, which is so direly needed. Women in trade is one area that is direly needed to grow. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, thank you. Well, there we need more you. We need FedEx and we need
That's why
other
he's here.
companies to be part of our curricular design. So we need companies to be in the programs, not to come when we finish the programs. And this is something that we would really like to change. So instead of having 4-year careers and by the end of them to send them to internships, or to have a 1-year MBA and by the end of the MBA send people to internship, we'd like from the beginning to have CEO speakers, top executive speakers, companies in the programs, to make them feel in love with the industry. So this is something that all our academic directors have this mandate. They are changing now with the Dean of Programs, the curricular design, at least from our side, because this is how we think that by knowing from the direct source how interesting the industry is, and when there are challenges, there are more opportunities, they have to listen directly from you. So I think that is by a closer partnership that we can make them see this industry that don't look that appealing, to see that there are great opportunities there. So you have an invitation to INCAE. I think you just earned it.
We'll do a Women in Trade brought to you by FedEx and INCAE.
But thank you for the question. It's a
Yeah.
great question. It's a great question.
Okay, so we have to close. What is the name of your podcast and where can we listen to it?
It's called Leadership Voices.
Oh, that's
We
good.
have it on Spotify, and what it's interesting there is the guest I have. One of the lastest, I encourage you to listen to David Price. He's the incoming CEO from PriceSmart.
Oh, nice.
Then
Okay.
I have interesting podcast with Stanley Mota, with Pedro
great.
Hebron from Copa Airlines.
Yep.
Laura Chinchilla,
Oh, she's
Isabel de
amazing.
Santos is
We
there.
had invited her to come today.
So
but
I
she
have
could-
a lot. Isabel Tocino, who was the first women minister of environment in Spain.
Nice.
Very
Okay.
close partner of Angela
Leadership
Merkel.
Voices.
Leadership voices.
Okay, so
yes.
now you all
So
have the homework over the weekend.
There are live cases to Latin American leaders.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You've been
you.
so inspiring. She'll be with us all day, so please come up and
Yes.
say hi. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so I'm so excited.